Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, to defend the truth and defeat the lies.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Think Theory Radio.
Manipulating the masses is more utilizing propaganda, gaining a wide quadrant of the public, where crowd manipulation is more focused, like the divisionary tactics of these political parties. They utilize certain talking points and phrases to target specific groups that they want to maneuver and empower and get them to do their bidding.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You either recently filed for or are getting ready to file for a divorce. You have questions about your home or purchasing a new home, which is why you should call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. I've been divorced and know how overwhelming divorce can be, but it doesn't have to be that way. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, unless 112-4061.
A new season is the perfect time to change up your look. And luckily, 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Snag daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like IT Cosmetics and Benefit. And discover new Gotta Have It launches from brands like Jacqueline Cosmetics and Tula. Experience the thrill of finding new faves during beauty's biggest event. But hurry, this event ends September 18th. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Ellen, and welcome to Out Chicago, everybody out there. How are you doing today?
I am doing just swell.
I love just swell.
It's been a busy week.
It has been a busy week.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Things are coming back to, people are more vaccinated and things are, everything I went to, you had to show vaccination, proof of vaccination. So life is, starting to try and get back to normal as much as possible, Yeah.
Ooh. Well, I had a show this week where some lady was very proud that she wasn't vaccinated.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, oh.
Where was she from? Indiana?
Nope.
Here?
Nope. Texas.
Yes, of course she was from Texas.
Yes, it was very fun. I'm like, oh, okay. There we go.
Lovely. She yelled that out in the middle of your show? Or?
No, it came up, not during my set, but it came up at some point during the whole thing. It was very strange. Jesus. It was very odd. Yes. But hey, oh, by the way, happy LGBTQ History Month.
Yes, happy LGBTQ
History Month.
There we are.
Yes, 31 days of gays.
Yes, and here we are.
And pan and bisexual and trans and everyone underneath our beautiful rainbow. Our
alphabet.
Beautiful, our rainbow alphabet.
Yes.
Hey, we've got a great show for you today. Next Saturday, the 9th, is the Alzheimer's Association Walk To End Alzheimer's. And Delia Javier is going to be, she's the executive director of Alzheimer's Association Illinois chapter. She's going to be joining us to talk about the walk and to talk about the fight against Alzheimer's. If you listen to the show, you know that it's a very cause that's very near and dear to me. I lost my mom last year after a years-long battle with Alzheimer's dementia. So I'm excited to be able to help spread the word.
Yeah, and clear up, people are confused, I think, a little bit about the differences between the
no
two.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Yes, people are confused. It's confusing. And, Reeling Film Festival is coming to a close. The live festival wrapped up Friday, I want to say. But you can still be a part of the Reeling Film Festival through October 7th with movies that are available to stream. And joining us in the second hour is our friend Ryan Spahn, who is a writer and director of a film called Nora Highland, which kind of pulls the curtain back on the sausage factory that is the entertainment world and explores the phenomenon of casting straight people in gay roles. I found it to be very trauma-inducing.
Yeah, I thought of you the whole time I watched it, thinking, "Oh my God, Scott's gonna go." Yeah, I know how this goes.
Yep. It's a fascinating film, a great short film. It's only an hour long. It's wonderful. So we cannot wait to speak with Ryan again. He's such a good actor, and I didn't realize what a good writer and director he is.
Yeah, he did it all.
Yeah, he did it all. So everything. And of course, we want to hear from you. So give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, where we are coming at you live. You can find us on Out Chicago Radio, or you can go to WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, to tune in there. And while you're at it, why not like WCPT on all social media at WCPT 820 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you know what? If that's not enough for you, we would love to encourage you to be a part of the WCPT 820 Club. So go to WCPT820.com. You can click and join up there. You can get emails about live events, about contests, about caption things, all sorts of fun stuff, and be a part of our WCPT family. So there we go. Ellen Miller, how was your week?
Busy. Starting to get back to the old, busy every night. We're trying to keep a couple nights open, but we were lucky enough to go to the opening night at Goodman Theater for American Mariachi.
That's right. That was Monday night.
Yeah, it was Monday night. Story of an all-women's mariachi band, which doesn't happen, very often. As the show, tells you the story, and it's a joyful story, Scott. It's not heavy. There's not but it's just. It's nice to just go see live theater and see these wonderful women who are acting, singing, and performing. Women of Latinx women and men. The group Sone de Mexico, I think that's what they're called. I saw them at the Pritzker Pavilion a couple weeks ago when the city did their Tune In, festival, Chicago in Tune, and they're just a wonderful group of mariachi musicians, and they were a part of this. It was a collaboration, and they were acting and they were singing, and it doesn't probably some of the because it's musicians who are doing some acting isn't quite what we're used to, but it was so delightful and wonderful and just a great night at the theater. So I highly recommend American Mariachi at Goodman.
At Goodman Theater. Yeah. I've heard that a lot of some of the actors, the primary ensemble, they actually learned how to play instruments.
Well, I wanted to, I knew as I'm watching and I go, oh, because the story is these women put together a group. They're trying to honor their mother has Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow.
And they're trying to get her memory, jog her memory back. I don't give the whole story away, but basically there's a song that they started playing. They found an old record, and she kind of came, awake and alive and singing. She started singing, and their father came in and he breaks the record. He's like, I never want to hear this again. And they realized, how are we ever going to get a copy of this? It was a homemade record.
Right.
So they go, the daughter and her cousin go out to get other women to come together to form a band so they can recreate this music for their mother.
How wonderful.
Yes, and I'm watching it going, I know at the end they're probably going to know how to play, but are these talented women actors, singers, and they know how to play these instruments?
They are.
Go see it and check it out.
Well, a lot of the actors learned how to play instruments,
and I was thinking, did they just learn for this? Because they did a wonderful job. I mean, we're looking at trumpet. We're looking at some, forget the name of the big guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Bass, that
I know
plays
you're
the
talking
bass
about.
lines. And but it's a really joyful, delightful play. And they're Goodman is committed to having productions that have diversity and people of color, which they've been doing a good
they've
job.
been very good, yeah.
And this is another example of that. So that started off the week on Monday.
Well,
since
that's
I saw
awesome.
you.
That reminds me a little. Have you ever seen Coco?
Yeah, I love Coco.
I am a wreck at Coco.
I've seen it on planes where I'm always crying on the darn planes. I'm just sobbing. In the old days when I used to fly, yeah. But that's where I first saw Coco, was on a plane.
Yeah, Coco kind of does me in. It's just so remember me. Oh no, I'm just going to start crying. Right
I wanted Kathy to watch. I don't think she's seen it yet.
Save it for the end of the month for
Halloween.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yes, Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah,
it fits right into the storyline. So That was great. We're going to talk later about went to Kathy Richardson's induction into the Hinsdale High Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which was a poignant and wonderful, remarkable evening, and we'll talk about that. And I celebrated my buddy Billy Branch's birthday.
70 years old, yeah.
70 years young, and we were at Leon Bridges at the Vic before that, first time at the Vic Theater. Vaccination cards, proof of vaccination required.
Yep.
We sat in the seats. I wore my mask because I was only if I drank water, I felt safe. I mean, at some point, you just got to start living your life and doing the best you can.
Yeah.
The way I look at it.
Yeah. This week I went to the Lyric Opera this week to go see Elixir of Love, an opera which I knew nothing about.
I don't know anything about it either.
It's an Italian piece. I'm Italian. Clear. I'm using my arms. It's an Italian opera. It's a comedy. It was just delightful. And I went with my 91-year-old friend Ruby. We went together, and we wore masks the entire time. So, and you have to show your vaccination card and ID and everything to get in. You have to wear masks the entire time. But it was just wonderful.
Was it not super long?
No, I mean, as far as opera goes, it was 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But the thing about the Lyric, too, is they have the longest intermissions ever. They're like 25 minutes.
Yeah, they like to sell their champagne in the lobby.
Well, I think also, there's a little bit of
to get all the people
an older
back
clientele as well to be heading in there.
Yeah.
Ruby was so funny. She's like, look at all of these people on
walkers and
wheelchairs. I'm like, Ruby, you're 91. You should stop. Be nice.
Yeah, my mom was like that too. What's with all these old people? I go, Mom, you're 89.
I was like, come on now. But but we had a wonderful time. It is just gorgeous and funny. It was genuinely funny. It's a comedic opera. It's a wonderful love story about a woman who runs a hotel, and one of the people who work for her is madly in love with her, and she knows, and he's trying to win her affections, and of course an army captain comes in and sweeps in and woos the lady who runs the hotel, but then at the same time a charlatan doctor comes to town who promises an elixir of love, so you drink this and people are madly in love with you, and then hilarity ensues.
I wouldn't know if I want that.
But whatever. You never know. But it's a wonderful, just like a romantic comedy. It's classic tropes. The performances are they're delightful. It always amazes me whenever I go to the Lyric to see people who are performing. They're not mic'd. That's
they're not.
No, they do not wear microphones because the acoustics within the Lyric Opera House, it is they're great. So the singers don't wear mics. So just to have these incredibly talented people who are up there performing, and to have these incredible voices filled with emotion and color and love, and it was just so great. And let me tell you, for people out there who are fans of live performance, who go out there, who go and patronize the theaters and the operas and the music and the comedy and everything, please don't leave before the curtain call. That drives me bananas. There was the lights came down at the end, and there was a swarm of people who were just running towards the exit. I'm like, they haven't bowed yet. They just worked their butts off for 2.5 hours. Well, 2 hours and 5 minutes because of the 25-minute intermission.
Right.
But but they worked their butts off. They were just up there doing things that you can't do. Show some appreciation with some claps.
I don't see that. That must be a Lyric thing more.
I've seen it a lot, and I also remember it a lot in growing up in St. Louis. People going to the Muni, which is gigantic outdoor
want to get in their
theater.
Cars,
they want to get to their cars or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I like to, as Kathy knows, I'm applauding, and then when that last bow, I am racing to get up, but I do wait and give them their due. And sometimes there's a little post thing. Sometimes if there was musical performance in it, they'll come out and do another, a tune together, or you never know what's going to happen. So stay until the lights fully come up and it's over.
Yeah. And also show these artists.
Yeah, they
give them appreciation.
They deserve to get the adulation and appreciation.
Well, just say thank you for doing the work that you've just done.
Of course.
But the Lyric, as again, I felt very, very safe. Again, I'm with my 91-year-old friend. She feels safe. You are masked. You are to show proof of vaccination. And they are very, very strict on that. So if you are thinking about attending some live events, please consider.
Please do. They're keeping, and I love wearing the mask, Scott, because I'm always freezing in every theater in Chicago because they like to keep it cool so people don't sleep and the actors are comfortable. But when you're just sitting still for 2 hours, I get cold. But having that mask around my nose, I think I may be wearing it forever in theaters. I'll always have one, because it keeps my face warm.
Where are you talking about American Mariachi?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you want to keep it cold for comedy. That's what that's what it is. If people get hot and warm, they get sleepy in the dark. So you want to keep it a little bit cool and crisp.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's how it is.
If it's like 90 degrees out in the summer, I go to a theater, I have to wear like pants, socks, a jacket, but whatever. It's a small price to pay to get to see the great theater here in
I think
Chicago.
it's also like a weird thing between like cis male bodies and cis women
Well,
bodies.
and the men control the thermostat. That's my pet peeve. At every restaurant in Chicago, I'll never forget my favorite phrase. I'm like, we're just sitting here, we're trying to eat, I'm freezing, but the waiters are comfortable. I'm like, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Ooh, where was that?
I've heard that for years.
Oh, goodness. All
But
right.
anyway, we digress.
There we go.
I did want to mention that I was at the rally yesterday at Daley Plaza
Yeah.
to keep abortion laws in this country in place, to keep abortion safe and legal. I love getting my rally on. I love my women's marches.
How was the march? So it was yesterday. You were down there. You were sending pictures. I think you were posting on to the Out Chicago Facebook page. So go on over.
And I think, and then I saw my phone lit up with CPT is here live, and I think Nikos was there.
Oh, great!
As well, doing live, and I'm like, I can tell from where he's in back of me.
He's behind me. Yeah.
Where is he? But I didn't get to see him. But very well attended. What I loved, Scott, was, of course, there were women there of all ages. A woman in front of me with a walker and her friend. Older men, young men. My favorites of a little boy with his little T-shirt on, Keep Roe v. Wade, the law. It just gives me such hope to see the depth and breadth of people that came out for that rally and the march. And it was just, the signs were great. I posted some of my favorites that were around me that I took photos of. It's on my Facebook page. Maybe I'll share it on the Out Chicago page too.
I saw some on there.
Some stuff I did, yeah.
I
did some stuff on there.
But it's great. So you felt like, were there speakers that were there?
The speakers were there. We had to move up to here. Unfortunately, they weren't raised very high, but as we got closer, we could hear them. And it was just, it's incredible when you're there to realize that we are at a point where we could be having Roe v. Wade overturned by the Supreme. It could happen. It could happen. So we must be vigilant. We must keep. You've got to call your here in Illinois. We know how our people feel, but guess what? Keep calling. Call all the senators. Call all the Congress people that you can call. Spend the day making an hour a day making some phone calls and letting them know how you feel. Most Americans, I think, do want to. I think the statistics show that they want to keep safe and legal abortion legal, and but we're in a situation where we've got minorities. Having too much power and too much control because of the gerrymandering that's gone on in this
conservative minority.
Conservative minority. So. But it was
it's a very important issue, and
it's
especially fortunately we live in a state where we our elected representatives are very they are pro-choice.
Yep.
Again, this bears repeating. Just because you're pro-choice does not mean that you are pro-abortion.
Yes.
That is the big thing.
Don't have an abortion if you don't want an abortion, but give the women control over their own bodies and their own decisions.
Yep. If you don't have a uterus, you don't have a voice. That's what I'm on this. That's what I'm saying. You should not, if you don't have a cervix or if you cannot get pregnant, this does not affect you. And
Amen.
Why is this always put on the women? That's the thing that it takes two to tango. The last time I heard, there was the only one person that I can think of that, got pregnant without doing anything was a lady named Mary. That was a while ago. That was a few years ago. But it's like, dudes, why are we, this is all about regulating women's bodies. This is all about taking control and taking away control from women.
Yes.
And women, it's ridiculous. Women are not second-class citizens. They should have autonomy over their bodies. We need to support women's rights and the right to choose. That is, again, it is not, pro-choice does not mean pro-abortion.
Absolutely.
Because right now, the pro-life movement is pro-birth. They don't care what happens to the baby or the mother or the rest of their family after the birth. It is nothing but a pro-birth movement. And we've said this countless times. It is a strain on our economy. You're going to have people, it'll be a strain on any sort of like financial assistance, on medical assistance for all of these unwanted pregnancies and things that are happening across the country, like you have in Texas right now. There are a bunch of other states that are trying to follow suit with their very draconian laws.
Nothing after 6 weeks. No abortions after 6 weeks. One of my favorite signs you just brought up. You're pro-life until the baby is black, queer, trans, and immigrant, poor, disabled, etc. That says it all.
Yeah. I mean, but they're not even just that. Not even if the baby. I mean, they're just pro-birth.
Yeah, then
they
give a
do
damn
not
afterwards.
care. They do not care what happens to the mother, to the child afterwards. And again, I do not know anybody who has had an abortion that was just like the easiest decision for them to make.
Hell no.
It's not.
It's horrible.
It's a hard decision. It's a personal decision that is none of your business.
Correct.
And when they're talking about this 6-week heartbeat situation, it's not a heartbeat. There is no heart. It is an electrical impulse. Just stop it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm glad I don't know the numbers, but it looked very good. It was very well.
Well, there were protests across the country, and including in D.C. So, it is important for us to get out there and to have our voices heard. And it is even more important to make sure that we go out and we vote, that we vote in every election, because it matters. The small local elections eventually lead up to larger elections.
Yep. Starting with your school board. School
board, and we are seeing. Are we an elected school board yet in Chicago?
I don't know for sure.
I need to look that up because
we're heading towards it.
Like I was talking a little bit about this last week about that podcast South Lake, and that focuses on a school board election that had the Texas GOP party funding it. Mm-hmm. So whenever we come around to election time, I usually get on my soapbox talking about the Green Party. Like, why do you come in for these big major elections and throw a monkey wrench and take away votes from people? Green. I'm all for a third party or a fourth party or whatever it is, but you start local. Start local.
Yep.
Start running for school board, dog catcher, whatever it is, and get your base there. And that's what it looks like a lot of these wackadoodle, conservative people are doing.
Yep, they get the playbook. We need to get it too.
Well, yeah, their playbook is terrifying, and they are starting at the school boards, and
yeah.
So
we have to be vigilant.
We got to be vigilant. So make sure that you get out and vote.
Midterms coming up next year.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, we need to take a break. We're just shot right through that break time and everything. But before we go, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are looking to purchase a new home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Dahlia, 27, nurse with an income of $80,000 a year. She's purchasing her first home. Now, Dahlia talked with an online lender who didn't answer her questions, so she called her mom for advice. Dahlia's mom recommended that she call Team Hochberg, the only lender she trusted to help her only daughter finance her first home. Team Hochberg answered Dahlia's questions, talked her out the ledge multiple times during the process, and secured the mortgage on Dahlia's first home. Now let's review. Dahlia first contacted an online lender who didn't answer her questions. Then, based upon her mother's recommendation, always listen to mom, she called Team Hochberg, who held Dahlia's hands throughout the entire process and successfully helped her secure the mortgage on her first home. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners, our listeners' children and grandchildren, secure mortgages on a new home like Dahlia, but they can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. We've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, there is more Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
If you don't have final expense insurance, this message is for you. Life Care provides valuable whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance, available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. Call Life Care at 800-956-0683. 800-956-0683.
So, as you guys know, Mark's gone.
The float artist at Fred's Floral just took off, days before the parade. They need a replacement before business passes them by.
Oh, and who am I going to get to finish the float?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. When the United States entered World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt believed that Major League Baseball should continue despite most of the players being off defending their country in the war. Worried about the future of the sport, Philip Wrigley founded the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1943. Despite being the first league for women, the league did not want any racial integration and turned away pitcher Mamie Johnson because she was black. But Johnson's love for the game did not let this stop her, as Johnson and two other women of color tried out for the Negro Leagues, and all three of them were then signed by the Indianapolis Clowns. The three women faced struggles from their male counterparts, but won over the league and the fans with their playing ability. During their run, the Clowns had the highest attendance, beating out any team in Major League Baseball and the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-253-1892. 800-253-1892. 800-253-1892. That's 800-253-1892.
I'm Israel Wright with National Gay and Lesbian Sports Hall of Fame. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here along with Ella Miller as we roll along.
Rolling.
Well, okay, since we played the sports, the LGBTQ sports folks, so what's going on with the Bears?
Oh, you really want to know?
Well, they're thinking about moving to Arlington, right?
They're threatening.
Okay, how do we feel about that?
I don't give a damn. You want to know? You don't know how I really feel about it?
I don't give a damn.
I don't give a damn.
Wow, why?
Because I don't go to Bears games. I like the Bears. I watch them on TV. I don't really, I feel kind of bad that they're leaving Chicago, but not bad enough to care about it.
Okay.
I did grow up in Arlington Heights, and I grew up in Prospect
and you were
Heights.
just at Arlington.
I was at Arlington Park a couple weeks ago
to
say goodbye. You know, I just think when they redid Soldier Field in 2003 or whatever
when they put
that
spaceship on top of it.
The spaceship. They they could have done things differently. We needed to have a domed stadium so we could bring Super Bowls and other events to Chicago, and they didn't do that. And I don't like that I think as taxpayers we had to foot some of that bill. So now that so that's not working. That's not good enough for them. That was 17 years ago. Now they want to go move Darlington Heights. Go move Darlington Heights. Spend your own money, though. I don't want to have anything to do with paying for it.
Okay, so I thought of both you and Devin when I heard.
Devin think?
What do you think? I know
too.
he's a Bears guy. Yeah.
How much time we got here?
Okay, well we've got 29 minutes.
Okay, I can ramp 29 minutes. So pretty much my thing is, I say go for it. Soldier Field's been voted one of the worst fields to play at. It's the only stadium that still has natural grass.
Well, I do like the natural grass.
Yeah, but natural grass is terrible in the NFL. Remember the year they forgot to water it and they had to paint it green?
Yeah.
That's pathetic. Soldier Field, it's like so many players say they hate playing at Soldier Field. It's like, you think, I'm trying to think, Patrick Mahomes, you think it's like if he's a free agent, I don't want to, I'm going to go play for the Bears at that garbage field? No.
And they have less capacity.
Is it really a garbage field?
I didn't know that.
It's pretty dang bad. And there's a lot of players that say they hate playing at it. I think moving to Arlington Heights would be great. Look at the New York Jets. They play in New Jersey, so the New York
a lot of teams. Foxborough.
So it's not that big.
So what would happen to crappy Soldier Field?
They could use it. Originally, it was a track and field facility.
Well, because you know how popular that is in the States these days.
But they could use it for high school stuff and other, soccer.
The Chicago Fire actually just signed a deal to continue all their games there, so they still have some a sports team there, I should say.
Okay.
I don't think the Chicago Fire brings in that much, but still.
And that's your sports minute.
That's your sports minute.
Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, we're done with that.
Yeah, but you need to tune in to Devin's Sports Cubicle to find out more information about that at 6 o'clock. So, what?
They moved us to 9.
Oh, 9 o'clock. Never mind. It's a very fluid schedule
Before you
here
go
on
to bed,
WCPT.
you can listen to
It's great, and you can get all riled up and dream about angry sports things.
Yes.
Yeah, angry sports things. I didn't see an angry sports thing, but I saw a lovely queer person last night. I went to see Cameron Esposito, who was on our show.
I would have gone if I didn't have a memorial celebration for one of my best friends. I said I would have been there. So how was it?
She was delightful.
I'm sure she was.
So great. And it was so funny because, I've been trying to get Cameron to be on the show for how long have we been on?
Yeah,
8 years, and we finally got her. And I realized that I think it's because it turns out my neighbors, my next, in the unit next to me, they were going to the show.
Fun.
And they're like, yeah, we hadn't heard, we had no idea that she was in town and what's happening. So, and I think it's because she was working on a new hour of material. So it was kind of like under the radar. Great audience. It was beautiful. It was a fun night. And she was working on very personal material. She started out talking, very, very personal. Started talking about her divorce. She was married to Ray Butler, Butcher. Ray Butler.
Maybe Butcher. I don't remember.
I need to look at that. Talked about her divorce. Butcher, yes, it's Ray Butcher. Talked about her divorce with Ray Butcher and that whole experience, and then it was just wonderful. And she literally brought out with a stack of papers and a pen, and she was up there making notes throughout the show.
Okay.
Just delightful. But was really had this sort of Hannah Gadsby kind of quality in terms of, all right, I'm going to let it get real for a little bit and let it sit here, and then we'll bring it back up.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful, and I got to pop her family was there, so I was able to just peep over and be like,
Did you get to say
I'm like,
hi?
We spoke on the radio. She's like, oh my gosh, I loved chatting with you.
She did,
yeah. So it was really great. If you want to check out that interview, you can go to WCPT820.com and you can go to download all the podcasts there, or you can go to SoundCloud.com and you can find all the WCPT shows there. But you check out the interview that we had with Cameron. Yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful.
It was fun having her on last week, too.
Yeah, and it was great to kind of kick off, LGBTQ History Month.
Yes, indeed.
Which is all the month of October, and it's so great. And we thought, I don't know, maybe you don't know about the history of History Month, but thought I would just kind of,
Please do.
Just let you know. So
Please
in 1994, there was a Missouri high school teacher named Rodney Wilson who believed that a month should be dedicated to the celebration and teaching of gay and lesbian history. So he try to get together all the other like teachers and community leaders, and they chose October because public schools are still in session. And it's also, and as well as like Coming Out Day, which is coming up on October 11th, also happened in October. So let's make this a huge month. And Gay and Lesbian History Month was endorsed by GLAAD, the Human Rights Campaign, the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, the National Education Association, and other national organizations. And in 2006, Equality Forum assumed that responsibility for providing content, promotion, and resources for LGBTQ History Month. And as we know, LGBTQ history is not necessarily a part of the national curriculum. It was passed into law here in Illinois that you need to teach it as a part of the curriculum, K through 12. Of course, age appropriate. And a lot of people are still getting very upset about it. A lot of people are still getting upset. And it's not like I think the moral outrage that is happening is coming from folks who are like, they're preaching a lifestyle. It's like
they're teaching my child to be gay.
It's like, no, all they're doing is saying Susan B. Anthony, a lesbian. That's it.
Just know.
That's it. Just putting it just to know.
Knowledge.
So that you can see, so that young students can see folks throughout history and to see all of the incredible contributions that queer people have made in history. We are a productive people.
Absolutely.
But we're not being denied rights. Like that's what's happening. So all throughout LGBTQ History Month, I'm trying to be diligent. Sometimes I get a little lax when it comes to the social media page, but I'm going to try to be posting a person a day let folks know about, like, these are like important people in history who have done incredible things, like Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah.
The right to vote.
I guarantee you a lot of people had no idea about it.
Truthfully, I think that was a surprise for me.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, whoa, really?
I had no idea.
Okay. There we go. But it's, we need to know, as like across the board, we're talking about school boards and people are like, electing people to school boards. This situation that happened in South Lake, Texas was primarily about critical race theory and about including that curriculum. We all know history has been told by the winners, but there's more than one side to every story, and that includes the story of our country, of our history. And we need to let people know these other perspectives. We need to let people know that a gay man came up with the Enigma machine to break the code that helped us win World War II. We need to realize that there are queer executives in news organizations, that there are queer artists like Janelle Monáe, who's breaking boundaries, and share it. Like, what? I'm a huge Janelle Monáe fan. I am
too.
A huge Janelle Monáe fan. And more on screen.
Yeah, she's
a heck of an actor.
Yeah,
I mean, like, holy smokes, Moonlight. Yeah. She's so great in that. She had a fabulous year when it was like Moonlight and Hidden Figures. Yeah. She's phenomenal. But we need to let people. Lil Nas X. I am so proud of Lil Nas X for just being like, whatever, this is me, and for like just kicking that closet door down, busting out, giving yet again another perspective. It's weird me being the cis white guy, because when you think of the LGBTQ community, this is the kind of face that you usually think of, a white dude, but we have so many other people under our umbrella, and it's so great to see like Lil Nas X, who's just being unabashedly himself and having a ball. I mean, clearly we saw that with Montero, Call Me By Your Name, the video for that, where, that was, everyone was like, what is happening? The shocking value. And right now the name of his new song is escaping me. But like the video for that is, have you seen it?
The new song or
it's basically a Shawshank Redemption video. No. It's fabulous. Let me just say that there's a prison shower dance scene that happens in it. But it's great. And he's, being flamboyant. He's showing up at the Met Gala. The Met Gala. He was, I mean, who doesn't love a reveal? Fans of Drag Race, you would love a reveal. He had 2 reveals. You know, he came in looked with all regal. It was just fun, and he's having fun and sharing joy and spreading the joy of what it means to be a queer black man. You know, it's fabulous, and that's one of the things that I love so much about Queer History Month. That we are, you know, again, it's to help to remind people like, hey, we've been here, we've always been here. And we do great things. We do great things. We inspire people. We help heal people. We tell people stories. We fix people's toilets, which hopefully I needed that because Mercury is so in retrograde at my house. I mean, we're talking about my sink's backed up. My coffee maker has decided to not work.
Hate when that happens.
You know, and the toilet is a mess, you know, so I need to call him a queer plumber. But like, that's the thing. LGBTQ History Month there's a reason, like, we are here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere, and we do great things.
Absolutely.
So, you know, to go a little, you know, Willie Loman, Death of a Salesman, and you know what, actually it's his wife Linda, like, attention must be paid. Attention must be paid to the people, the queer people in your life, in your neighborhood, and throughout history who are making a difference in your community, in your school, in your city, in your state, in your country, in the world.
Amen.
So there we go.
Amen to
we
that.
should take a quick break, and when we come back, there's more Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Rick Unger.
You've got Republicans out there complaining about the way that Biden is handling it. They think he's being too silent. All right, then tell me what you would do. To me, the right answer has probably always been to acknowledge that all the things that we've done have not succeeded in removing the communist government from Cuba.
Rick Unger, weekday evenings at 6, right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You're a veteran who served our country and can use a VA loan to either purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, but you don't know who you can trust. Team Hochberg respects your service and has VA loan experts available right now to answer your questions and help you secure a VA loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure VA loans, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
And paid for by MaxPace Marketing. Attention! If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications such as chronic pain, infection, wound reopening, mesh migration, bowel obstruction, need revision surgery, or other complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Hernia repair surgery is common and requires a mesh product to be implanted inside your body. In May of 2016, the manufacturer of a popular hernia mesh product issued a mandatory global recall due to product defects. If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now at 800-797-0539. Our experienced attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. You pay nothing unless we get a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now, 800-797-0539. Operators are standing by 24/7. Call 800-797-0539. That's 800-797-0539.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BILL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BILL for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code BILL.
Welcome back.
I'm Fazia Mirza. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, as we roll along. Hey, you know what it is? We've been talking that it is LGBTQ History Month, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate LGBTQ History Month than helping to get the Equality Act passed. That is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
That has passed the House. It's been in the Senate since, when was it? 2018? 2019. It's been a couple of years. It passed because it was the Buffalo Grove's first Pride Parade. I remember that because I was out in Buffalo Grove, and I was with one of our state representatives who had just passed the Equality Act in the House and has now moved over to the Senate. Here's, if you are unfamiliar with the Equality Act, it will just ensure that LGBTQ folks have equal rights.
Yeah. Hello.
Meaning you can't get fired from your job for being a part of the LGBTQ community.
Oh, but it's going to open a whole can of worms, you know.
Well, you know, because we're all going to be marrying cats or whatever. They always jump to animals right after marriage equality. But you can. In 39 states, you can still get fired for being married. You can be denied housing. You can be denied medical care. These are bad things. We need to pass the Equality Act. It's been languishing in the Senate. And now I know there's a lot going on right now because we've had a pandemic. We had an election. We had an insurrection. We're trying to get infrastructure passed. We're trying to get all these things passed, which, of course, then we have Kristen Toomey, who's just a contrarian. I don't get her. I don't get her at all. Cecily Strong was hilarious about her last night on the SNL Cold Open.
To catch up on.
Yeah, it's good. But we need to get this passed. And here's the thing. Did you know that every U.S. senator keeps a tally of all of the calls, emails, and letters that they receive regarding pieces of legislation from their constituents? That also includes pro-choice laws, things like that. So make sure your voice is in their count. You can reach out to your senators. It's a powerful way to make sure that they know that our movement will not stop until we've achieved equality for all. So here you can text the word Equality Act to 472-472, and you'll get connected to your legislator's office right away, so you can help them pass the Equality Act. That's a number courtesy of the Human Rights Campaign. So again, make sure your voices are heard. Text Equality Act to 472-472, and you can get connected with legislatures that you can just have your voice heard. We need to get this passed. It's been languishing. Come on now. And we can't wait until next year because who knows what's going to be happening in the midterms. Right now we have a very, very slim majority, and, between Manchin and Sinema dancing around over there, who knows what's going to be going on. But Kristen Sinema, she's a part of the LGBTQ community. She's an open bisexual.
That's right.
That's
right.
So we need to get this passed.
Yes.
So again,
please call
text Equality Act to 472-472. The Human Rights Campaign will help connect you to your legislators, representatives, senators, everything. Or you can just do your own legwork and contact your own elected officials and get that going, because we need that to be passed. So that is my service to this. And it kind of, fits into what we were talking about, including LGBTQ history and curriculums, letting people know, taking away the contributions of the queer community to society in schools to help reduce the stigma that a lot of high school students and younger people still face.
Yes.
And our good friend, Kathy Richardson, which you alluded to, she's the lead singer of Jefferson Starship. She was inducted into Hinsdale Central's High School Hall of Fame. I know that sounds like a weird thing to be inducted into.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but you could tell that you were there at the event to support her. That she was super duper proud and honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, we were asked if we wanted to support, to come to the event, and it was at a fancy country club in Burr Ridge, Hinsdale. And Kathy and I said, of course, we want to be there for Kathy. And I thought, well, she's getting inducted, and is it going to be cheesy? I mean, I didn't know. My high school doesn't have anything like that. But there were 8 inductees and 8 people introduced them. So there were 16 different speeches in the course of the night.
Oof. That's a long night.
And the inductees were, didn't go to Hinsdale Central. I don't know that much about it other than it's an elite, one of the elite high schools in the Chicago area. It's always done very well. And the different people that were inducted were very impressive. Some of them were students that had gone on to do good things. Some of them were teachers that were well thought of, that were respected. Some of them were coaches. One woman was a graduate in 1966. She and her husband went on to found a law firm that deals with child welfare, civil rights, and disability law. I'm like, okay, all right. And then our friend Kathy got up there. She was near the end, and I knew that what her speech was going to be about. I didn't know it exactly, but I had she had given us a preview, and it was going to be very different from every other speech that we heard, because Kathy's experience in high school was one like many young people that are dealing with being, trying to come out and reconcile their LGBTQ feelings in an environment that isn't always welcoming or understanding, especially in the 80s. As she said in one of the lines, it wasn't really cool to be gay in the 80s in high school, especially white privilege high school out in the wealthy suburbs. She said she came from another area of the area that goes into the Hinsdale system that was, more middle class, and she always had a little bit of a stigma about that. But people loved her music when she sang. She moved people, and she saw that. But she came out with a very powerful, honest, heartfelt speech. I was sitting next to her, so we were kind of near the podium. I could see the looks on people's faces, and the people were moved. They were moved by it, and she got a standing ovation at the end, which nobody else got. A counselor came after. Are we gonna play a little snippet?
Well, yeah, we kind of need to.
Okay,
if we're gonna play it.
Let's play a little. Let's play a little. Yeah, the very end of her.
Yeah, this is the end of Kathy Richardson's speech when she was being inducted into the Hinsdale Central High School Hall of Fame. It's
LGBTQ plus acceptance is light years ahead of where it was in the 80s. But here's a recent statistic. Suicide is the leading cause of death among young people, with LGBTQ youth being 4 times more likely to seriously consider suicide, to make a plan for suicide, or to attempt suicide versus their peers. So I stand here today grateful that I went to school in a place that recognized my gifts and talents and had a robust music and arts program. Grateful that I had awesome parents who loved me and an exceptional raw talent combined with a dream that gave me a reason to keep going. And I realize not everyone has exactly what I have, but to any kid out there who's thinking that suicide is the only way out of your struggles, I want to say, don't give up. You too are unique and special, and you're here for a reason, even if you don't know it yet. You have no idea what's around the bend. If I killed myself, I wouldn't have realized that my parents were going to love and accept me no matter what. If I'd killed myself, I wouldn't have been able to write all those songs and make all those records and play all those gigs and portray Janis Joplin off Broadway and be nominated for a Grammy and become lead singer of one of my favorite bands in high school, Jefferson Starship. To write a song with Grace Slick and to become a peer to those very heroes who inspired me. And I wouldn't have lived to see society evolve and see gay marriage become a reality, and I never would have met and married my gorgeous and amazing wife, Rachel, and become a mom to our 2 incredible kids, Shree Rose and Hendrix.
Yeah, so that was just a snippet of Kathy Richardson
near the end, and as she said, Scott, she was suicidal and attempted suicide in high school.
Yeah,
and in fact, today, if you go to Kathy Richardson's public Facebook page, you can see the entire speech, her introduction by her sister, and her speech. The whole piece is about 60 minutes long, and she's using it as a forum to get donations for the Trevor Project.
And the Trevor Project, for folks, if you are listening and don't know what that is a national organization that helps with teen LGBTQ suicide prevention. So it was a beautiful speech.
It was, and to do it in that, we're in a country club where basically 99% white people were there.
Oh yeah.
They were teachers and educators, and I think that by the way they responded, they embraced what Kathy said, and I think that they are probably more on our side of the ledger than probably a lot of people that live, in that area. A school counselor came up to her right afterwards and said, "If you could come speak, you don't know how many kids you could help."
Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about, because again, it goes back to my personal experience as a teacher in high school. I was put on the don't ask, don't tell policy my very first day of teaching, and for a month I walked on eggshells. And then thank goodness that we had a wonderful school counselor that I turned to for help, to be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to. I was said, what am I supposed to do as a well-adjusted adult who has been in a relationship, for years? What am I supposed to do when a kid comes out to me? Because it's not if, it's when.
Yes.
Because we've got queer kids in this school. And I think it's so important that people are that we talk about these things. We talk about this stuff. And I'm so proud of Kathy Richardson as all of her work that she does, of course with Jefferson Starship and all the amazing projects that she does on her own, but the fact that she is able to share her story, which took some ovaries to share that story. That was a big moment to say that, and to be like, and to say thank you. You're honoring me for being exceptional in high school, but let me tell you about my high school experience.
Let's talk about what really happened.
Let's talk about what really happened, and we need people to know that. So if you are interested in supporting Kathy Richardson, go to her Facebook page. It's Kathy with a C. Cathy Richardson. You can click on the link. She does have a link up there to donate towards the Trevor Project. Do it in her name, or do it in the name of folks that of some young people that you know. I think it'd be good and good for you.
Absolutely.
All right. What's good and good for you is finding out a little bit about what's going on in the world. So we got to take a quick break for the news, but when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago waiting for you right here. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
The Hal Sparks radio program.
Governors of pro-Trump states, they must show their fealty towards Trump by mitigating any support for the health and safety of their own citizens against COVID, so that they don't upset him or the minority of his supporters amongst the Republicans in their state, which are often the majority of the voters in their state.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
So, as you guys know, Mark's gone.
The float artist at Fred's Floral just took off, days before the parade. They need a replacement before business passes them by.
And who am I going to get to finish the float?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is WCPT 820, where you can hear the Stephanie Miller Show every weekday, 8 to 11 a.m., because facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says she's confident the House will pass both the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the reconciliation package.
We made clear 3.5 months ago that the two had to move together because we don't want to pit roads and bridges against childcare. And we know that the president doesn't want to do that either.
Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, the Washington Democrat said the price tag of the bills has never been the main focus, although Jayapal said $1.5 trillion would not be enough to fund all the programs she wants to be included in the bill. She called the process tricky because Democrats want to deliver on both bills. Jayapal added that she would not vote for any legislation if it includes the anti-abortion Hyde Amendment. Nearly 4,000 employees of the Transportation Department are heading back to work thanks to a temporary funding bill. Brad Siegel has more.
President Biden Saturday signed into law a temporary extension of the Highway Trust Fund, which will keep the employees from being furloughed. About 3,700 jobs came to a halt last week when the House failed to pass an infrastructure bill that would have provided for highway funding.
There was a big scare at Atlantic City International Airport on Saturday. Paul DeCastro reports.
All passengers and crew are safe after a bird struck a plane's engine, causing the engine to catch fire. Spirit Airlines Flight 3044 was bound for Fort Lauderdale, but was forced to stop after accelerating on the runway because a large bird struck one of the plane's engines and sparked a fire. Takeoff was immediately aborted and the passengers were returned to the terminal. They were given a full refund and a travel voucher.
California is the first state in the nation to require students 12 and older to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Governor Gavin Newsom says he'll require all staff and students in grades K through 12 to get the shots in order to participate in in-person instruction. Newsom says the mandate will be applied once the FDA has fully approved the coronavirus vaccine for ages 12 and up, which could happen as early as November, and guidance from the White House is also expected. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You've asked for her. Now we got her. Comedian and talk show host Patty Vasquez. Live every weeknight from 5 to 6 p.m.
And as you would imagine, that would mean that folks want to call in and join the conversation.
Driving it home with Patty Vasquez.
Look, we want to be out. We want to gather and have a good time.
On WCPT 820.
Think Theory Radio.
Theoretical astrophysicist Dan Hooper.
If there's someplace a light year away from now, there's nothing I can do now that can influence that place in less than a year. No matter what I do, no matter how I build my quantum machine, or no matter what I entangle or what I quantum teleport, nothing I can do here can affect that until a full year has passed, allowing light to get there at the speed of light.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. As we roll along, we've got a really great second hour. We're just talking about date nights. Today is like October 3rd is Love Day.
It was when Kathy and I professed our love to one another 26 years ago. We didn't know we'd ever have a real anniversary or two.
You've got 8. You have 17 dates that you celebrate, and I celebrate you celebrating them. Like I said, I've never met anybody who celebrates more than you and Kathy.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So today is one of the unofficial.
This is the anniversary that we because again, when we met in 1995, got together in 1995, gay marriage was not around the corner, and so we chose this date as our anniversary of a time we both knew that we wanted to be together forever. And both of our parents, they'd send us cards, and then I was telling Scott, my mom, like when we got legal civil union in 2011. My mom was like, "No, honey, what anniversary am I? Are we? Is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it October 3rd or?"
No, it's 7/11.
I was like, 7/11, Mom. But I'm happy that you're even.
I know that. It's drilled into my head.
But I was happy and honored that my mom was even concerned about getting the right anniversary.
Of course,
and Kathy's mom too always used to send us a card for the 3rd, and she did pivot to the 11th.
Well, there we go. Well,
Yeah,
gotta make sure people. 7-Eleven.
We're lucky.
I know.
26 years. 26 years today.
Wowzas. We're only at 17 and a half.
You're catching up.
Only 17 and a half. Yeah, we had our first date night last night. Like, we actually went out to a restaurant.
Very
the
nice.
two of us,
Yes.
just alone. And then we saw Cameron Esposito. It was great.
Perfect date night.
Yeah, but we're just like, how do we do this? Because it's been because we were in a pandemic. I know. And we've been hanging out together. And we hung out all day yesterday together. So we're like, what do we talk about? We talked about stuff. It got very heady. But anyway.
That's good.
It's great. But, and part of it is with one of our guests that's coming up later. Later this hour, we're going to be speaking with writer, director, actor Ryan Spahn about his new film, Nora Highland, which is a part of Reeling Film Festival. So you want to stick around for that. And also our next guest who works for a cause that is very, very near and dear to my heart. This Saturday, October 9th, is the Alzheimer's Association's Walk to End Alzheimer's. And if you are listeners of the show, you know that I lost my mom to Alzheimer's last year at the very beginning of the pandemic. Why did I just put this mask back on my wrist? I don't know. And joining us now on the phone is Delia Javier, Executive Director of Alzheimer's Association Illinois Chapter. Delia, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking time out today. I know you are busy getting ready for next weekend. And thank you for taking time out to talk about, again, like I said, an organization that is very near and dear to my heart, the Alzheimer's Association. So to kick off the conversation, can you clarify just a little bit, what is the difference? What is Alzheimer's and how does it differ from dementia?
So, Scott, I'm so sorry to hear about what you went through with your mom and really appreciate your support of the association. Dementia is the umbrella.
Yeah.
So if you can think of an umbrella and all of the things that fit under, that's the name of the umbrella, dementia. And underneath there are several forms of dementia, and Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, with about 70 to 75% of the people who have dementia have Alzheimer's disease. And then there's a handful of others, such as Parkinson's disease is a form of dementia, vascular dementia, Lewy body is another form of dementia. But again, Alzheimer's is the most common form, with dementia being the umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it together. No, I'm sorry. I'm just having some feelings come up because it is such an insidious disease that impacts not only the individual but their family and friends that are around there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What work is the Alzheimer's Association doing to help find a cure?
Well, of course, all of the money that is raised through events like Walk to End Alzheimer's, a percentage of that is going towards funding research. And, without research, we cannot find a cure, nor can we find new medications to help treat the symptoms of the disease. And so, we, in the last 15, almost 20 years, we hadn't seen anything come out in terms of new medication. And just this year, we had the new medication from Biogen that was approved or provided with a temporary approval through the FDA, and it took almost 20 years for that to happen. But again, funding from the events that we hold, such as the Walk to End Alzheimer's, a percentage of that goes towards funding research. The association also advocates through their public policy effort to increase research funding at the NIH, and we are knocking on almost $400 billion right now in funding versus barely having under $500,000, 6 or 7 years ago. So the association has done a phenomenal job at raising the funding for Alzheimer's research, and we're seeing the results of that.
Yeah. So Why is it so challenging to? I mean, I feel like I can answer this myself, but but why is it so challenging to find a cure? I mean, I understand the brain is a complex place.
It is a very complex organ.
Yeah.
You've also got to remember that we didn't really start talking about Alzheimer's disease until about 40 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so when you compare that to, cancer and even HIV/AIDS, we've been talking about those diseases for a much longer period of time than Alzheimer's. It wasn't really until Ronald Reagan read the letter to America letting people know that he was diagnosed with the disease that we started really actually having a conversation about it. And the Alzheimer's Association is just about 40 years old as an organization, which is half the age of many of the other nonprofits out there, such as Cancer or the Diabetes Association. So it's a fairly new conversation. It's a fairly new disease in terms of understanding what's happening. And so I know it's hard because it's a heart disease and the sentence is death. There's no cure. And families that go through this really, sometimes feel discouraged because it feels like there's no hope. But we are making progress in a very, very short period of time. And that's to be commended.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I didn't realize that it was such a relatively new discussion or study of field of research that we've been going through. And of course, it took a white man
to say
for people to
Delia, I know that a lot of the money goes to research, obviously, to find a cure, to find a better life for people with Alzheimer's through medication. What kind of support groups for those that are the family of those
the association coordinates several support groups across the state of Illinois and as well as throughout the country, and we encourage people to call our 24-hour helpline, which is 800-272-3900. And all you have to provide is like a zip code. If you're looking for a support group in your area, those support groups are held at many locations, community centers, facilities. So those are free for people to attend for caregivers. In the state of Illinois, we also have support groups that are currently being held in Spanish as well as even Chinese. We have support groups for caregivers who are men. And we also just recently launched a support group for members of the LGBT community because those within that community, as you know, face other challenges even associated with the discussion around their loved one going through this particular disease. So we have those support groups that are at no cost to anyone who wants to attend.
Is there any kind of message that you could give to people that might be listening that have a loved one that is suffering from Alzheimer's? Any kind of words of wisdom or encouragement that you could tell them that might give them some comfort or some hope?
Well, certainly. I mentioned our 1-800 number. For somebody who is going through this as a caregiver, this number is staffed by people. You're not going to get a voicemail. You call licensed professionals, master's level licensed professional, all time of day, any day, 24/7. Reach out. Don't try to care for the person with disease by yourself. There's lots of resources available. I still am amazed at how many people still to this day say, I wish I knew what the Alzheimer's Association provided. I wish somebody had told me that I could call at any time of day, even if it was just to vent. Mm-hmm. We have people that call just to vent and get it off their chest. We have a listening ear on the other line. During holidays, it can be really hard as well. Mm-hmm. And so, it's amazing to continue to hear the stories that they didn't know. They didn't know what the association did. And it's saddening, but I'm hoping that by, hearing a message like this today, somebody is going through it and they know, call the number 272-3900 and there will be somebody on the other line. Nobody's going to You're not going to hear press 1 for English or 2 for Spanish or nothing like that. You're going to get a live person on the other line, and they will be able to direct you to any resource, especially, too, if you are just hearing the information for the first time. You're facing the new diagnosis, and you have no idea where this is coming from or where to turn. The association is there for that as well, to help with a care plan. What do we do next? And then our message is also about awareness. And if you see something that does not look right, go to your physician. It's knowing is half the battle. And we're really trying to raise awareness about getting checked, have the conversation, especially in communities that are underserved. Culturally diverse populations tend to try to sweep it under the rug and not talk about it. And we want to take care of our mom and dad, and we don't. But there are resources out there, and we don't have to wait until they are in the end stages of the disease to seek out help. We encourage people. We want to try to identify folks at the mild cognitive impairment level, because that's when we know medications can be the most effective. So, again, knowing is half the battle. If you see something, talk to your physician.
Yeah. Delia, what is that number again for our listeners?
It's 1-800-272-3900.
1-800-272-3900. Yeah. It really is a valuable lifeline. And, with my experience, I was just happy that my mom got to a place where she was no longer afraid. Because can you talk a little bit about what people should be looking at? You say, if you notice something different, that they should reach out to the Alzheimer's Association, to reach numbers at 800-272-3900. What should people be looking out for? Because the Alzheimer's presents itself in such different ways in different people.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, but if you see, it's not just things that you can attribute to old age. It's not just forgetting where you put your keys and being able to backtrack and finding the keys. It's maybe not remembering that item in your hand, what that's called. It's, maybe mom was always a clean person, always kept the house clean, and then you go to visit one day and the house is in complete disarray. It's, they're purchasing multiple items that you're seeing their bank account is maybe in the negative, and they were always taking care of their bills on time. It could be the lights are getting cut off all of a sudden because they forgot to pay the light bill. So there are things that are disrupting their day-to-day activity and not remembering how to get somewhere that they've been driving to every day for the last 10 years. They might forget how to get there all of a sudden. So it's things that are disrupting their day-to-day activity. It's things that are not common for that particular individual. And as you said, yes, it does show in different ways, but the most important part is that the person is no longer behaving in a way that you are accustomed to. And that's important. And so it starts that way, and it's a good thing to go and try to get the cognitive assessment, which is something that you can have done once a year during your annual, well check exam. Do a cognitive assessment, and if that's found to be abnormal, then they can pursue additional testing through a neurologist and find out what's going on.
Yeah, great. That's great advice. So this coming Saturday is the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Can you give us a little bit of details about what's going to be happening at the event at Soldier Field?
Yeah, we're so excited to be back in person, Soldier Field.
Yes.
People will come out and they can register online still at alz.org/walk. It's free to register. You will come and we will have our Promise Garden ceremony, which is the key part of our Walk to End Alzheimer's. People will get their flower representing different areas, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're supportive of the of the cause and the association, whether you're walking in memory of someone, there's a particular flower for that, or you're a person with disease yourself. Because we do have people who come and bring their loved one with them as well. And then they'll be able to walk at any time throughout the day. You can come, drop off your contributions if you're going to make a donation, and be a part of thousands of people that day who have one thing in common, and that is that they are there to support and be a part of finding a cure for Alzheimer's disease and supporting the Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah, I think one of the lessons that I learned is that community is very, very important when you have a family member or loved one who is suffering again from this very, very insidious disease. My mom was extremely fortunate. We found a lovely place for her to be. She received great care. Like I said, she kind of moved from this paranoid, fearful stage into a place of calm and much joy, which is not always the case. So it's wonderful. And if you see something like you were saying with a loved one or a friend or a neighbor, their lives are being disrupted a little bit, and you have some questions, please reach out and call 800-272-3900. The number again is 800-272-3900. The Alzheimer's Association will help connect you with incredible resources and support. I always likened it. My experience was I was drawing on my improv comedy background, and my conversations were nothing but a yes and. It was like when she would say something, and I'm like, I don't quite understand that, but yes, you are absolutely right. It's just it's to celebrate.
And that's great. That's a perfect way to respond. And, we provide programs helping people understand how to better communicate with the loved one. And you're absolutely right. Don't argue.
Nope.
It's their brain. Right. They think that you're their sister or someone that passed away. Just go with it, because they won't remember.
Yep.
And the argument would not have been worth it.
Yeah, it really is just.
And try to be patient. It's hard.
It's
I know,
so hard
because you're frustrated. You think by yelling louder or saying it over again that they're going to get it. No.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
do what Scott did.
And the worst thing you can say is, "Don't you remember?" It's like, no, they don't. Right. They don't. Yeah. But we still want to make sure that that you can. This is the new normal. And the new normal changes on a daily basis. It can change on an hourly basis sometimes. But again, that's thanks to the incredible work that the Alzheimer's Association is doing and raising money to help fund research and support these different support resources for folks. It's very, very valuable. So just a reminder, the event Walk to End Alzheimer's is this coming Saturday, October 9th at Soldier Field. For more information, you can go to alz.org/walk. And that number again, the support helpline is 800-272-3900. Reach out and get some support. You don't need to go through this alone, and you shouldn't go through this alone because it's hard. And so, Delia, I want to thank you again for taking time out today to talk with us about a very important and serious disease, and thank you for all of the work that you and your colleagues are doing at the Alzheimer's Association to help find a cure.
And good luck with the event next week. Thank you.
All right, Delia. Thank you, Delia Javier, Executive Director of Alzheimer's Association Illinois Chapter. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully you'll have beautiful sunny skies for the walk to celebrate lives and memories of people that we love. So, Delia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've got to take a quick break, and I'm going to try to pull myself together, and we will speak with actor, writer, director Ryan Spahn about his new film, Nora Highland. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In the 1980s, the AIDS crisis killed thousands of Americans in gay communities. And under President Reagan, the epidemic went unaddressed. To raise awareness, the political group ACT UP decided they needed something big to urge the government and the drug companies to take action. This created the form of protest known today as die-ins, where protesters lay on the ground playing dead to show how dangerous things can be if action is not taken. ACT UP's first die-in took place on October 11th, 1988, outside the Food and Drug Administration building. Some protesters held tombstone signs over their bodies with sayings such as, "Dead from lack of drugs," "Victim of FDA red tape," "Killed by the FDA and never had a chance." After the protest, it took the FDA less than a year to approve drugs to help battle the AIDS virus. ACT UP's die-ins continued throughout the country, taking place outside the Center of Disease Control, outside Wall Street, and outside the vacation home of President George Bush. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Hi, this is Jason Bissell from Chicago Community Acupuncture at Milwaukee, Devon, and Nagel in Chicago. The first thing the National Institutes of Health concluded acupuncture could actually treat was chemotherapy-induced nausea. This is back in 1997. Since then, research has shown that it can reduce or eliminate all of the side effects of chemo and radiation: fatigue, neuropathy, pain, dry mouth, and most importantly, impairment to the immune system. It should absolutely be a part of everyone's cancer care regimen. All the top hospitals use it, including Memorial Sloan Kettering, where I was the first acupuncturist to serve as a postdoctoral fellow. If you're battling cancer, we can help. People who get acupuncture along with standard care have fewer side effects, greater quality of life, greater survival times, and greater survival rates. And at Chicago Community Acupuncture, we charge about half of what others charge. Call us at 773-853-0920, 773-853-0920, or go to chicomacu.com, chicomacu.com.
And paid for by MaxPace Marketing. Attention! If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications such as chronic pain, infection, wound reopening, mesh migration, bowel obstruction, need revision surgery, or other complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Hernia repair surgery is common and requires a mesh product to be implanted inside your body. In May of 2016, the manufacturer of a popular hernia mesh product issued a mandatory global recall due to product defects. If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now at 800-797-0539. Our experienced attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. You pay nothing unless we get a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now, 800-797-0539. Operators are standing by 24/7. Call 800-797-0539. That's 800-797-0539.
Hi, this is Renee Taylor. You're listening to Out Chicago, WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Tuff here as we roll along. I pulled myself together after.
Yes, you did.
There we
it's
are.
Hard. I know.
I know. But that's why we're talking about
it's got to talk about it.
Got to talk about stuff.
Information to people and help them and support them because it is one of the harder things for people to go through, and it's. Sadly, it's the people around the person that's suffering.
Yeah, the caretakers
and the family members.
So again, if you have somebody who in your world who you think might be experiencing some memory loss and some things, contact the Alzheimer's Association, 800-272-3900, or go to alz.org.
Don't sweep it under the rug.
No.
Please just try it. I know it's hard, but at least get it checked out and see what you're dealing with.
Get it checked out. There we go. Anyway, but moving on to something a little bit more exciting. We love people who are creating and creative, and of course, we love the Reeling LGBTQ International Film Festival, which is celebrating its 39th season, and you can still stream movies all the way until October 7th. And joining us right now, we're so lucky to have him back on the show. A very, very talented actor, writer, and director. Who directed a film and wrote it called Nora Highland. Ryan Spahn is back on the show. Ryan, welcome back to Out Chicago.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are doing all right here. We're doing all right. We're celebrating LGBTQ History Month. Today was supposed to be the Pride Parade that got rescheduled, but it got canceled again. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Well,
third time will be a charm.
Yeah, we'll wait for the third year to actually have a Pride Parade around here, but we're very excited that we're able to celebrate queer filmmakers and your wonderful film, Nora Highland. Congratulations on the film. It was a traumatic event for for me to watch.
It's a little triggering for him, Ryan, truth be told. But
it is not an easy watch.
It is not an easy watch, especially it kind of pulls back the curtain on see how the sausage is made in the entertainment industry. So Nora Hyland explores the phenomenon of not using gay actors in gay roles in a world where we're often told that we can only play gay characters. So Ryan, how did this film come to you?
Okay, I'm an actor, and it is something that as an openly gay actor, it's something that I faced endlessly. You know, the gatekeepers, which are like a casting person, only let a certain amount of people off their list into an audition, and usually that audition list is comprised of mostly straight actors. I found people who identify as cis white straight actors. That is the largest list for casting people, and it started to be something that was very challenging for me. And so I started writing this play, and then the pandemic hit, and I realized on a virtual reading of the play that I could adapt it into a film, which is what you guys saw.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful because it captures the spirit of being in this. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm all hearing a little bit of an echo, but being in this this time of like being in the actual room with the casting directors, having conversations with the director of the play. So what was it like to film it? Because I'm assuming you filmed this during the pandemic. During lockdown, correct?
We filmed it during lockdown in like April of 2020, and we weren't allowed in each other's homes, as all of us remember. And so I did the reading of the play for fundraiser on Zoom, and saw that it is a play that works extremely well in the video conferencing platform. And so I adapted it and asked a few friends to film from their home, and we rehearsed like we would rehearse a play. And I recorded the Zoom of patients and
you
edited it together.
Okay.
What's that?
You dropped out a little bit, Ryan, when you said something about you filmed the Zoom, and then we kind of lost you for a sec. Can you repeat that?
I'm trying to find it. We just moved to a new apartment, and we're still struggling with where our best internet is.
Right now, you sound good right now.
Which is not a good thing during a pandemic. So everyone that's in the movie is a theater performer that was sort of, the industry, in particular the theater industry, was decimated by the pandemic. And so we would rehearse the scenes like we were in rehearsal, and I would watch them through Zoom. And then the second scene, for instance, is a 50-minute single take that we rehearsed for 2 weeks and then did in one take. And that's what lives in the film as sort of the centerpiece conversation between an actor and a director, debating why she's unable to hire him because he's openly gay, even though that the role he's auditioning for is for a gay role.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that is that's sort of how we structured the entire piece. But none of the actors met in person. So like those two actors who play that scene have still never met in person, even though they have to play, a history of friendship that's decades old. They'd never met in person, and they never were in each other's homes. Some of it was shot in London. Some of it was in California. But it was all from me sitting in my apartment pressing record on what was happening on the computer.
Hats off. I celebrate anybody who's able to do anything creative during those initial months, or even during all last year. Because I know me as a creative person, I was definitely stymied and did not feel that the creative juices were not flowing at all. So just A, kudos for making something during a horrible time, and B, kudos for this really, really interesting conversation. Like you said, the main crux of the film is a conversation between two longtime friends. One is a well-established actor who has had some success, and one is a director who is tackling her first Broadway play. And the conversation that ensues, again, is really unsettling. What has been the reaction to folks that have seen the film, and is particularly people who are in the industry?
Sure. The film premiered at NewFest this past fall, and then has slowly rolled out into the virtual film festival space. But then last weekend, it premiered at its first in-person festival in Winston-Salem. And so me and a member of the cast, Michael, who played the actor in the longer scene, we went to Winston-Salem. So we were able to participate in conversations with people who just watched it on a movie screen. And that was fascinating because I could really hear in real time how people responded, and so many people were struck by the tennis match element of the second scene because it's a virtual film. The actors were never in the same room, and so there's a certain level of intimacy and private thought and private opinion that an actor can have that they are unable to have if they're actually in the same room as somebody else. And so there's actually more going on both of the actors' faces about how they feel about what's being said and what's not being said in a way that I think couldn't have been produced if this was produced in a more traditional way and if it was in a play format. And that was something that people were really taken by just as a piece of film. But then the conversations around it are, it's. I think a lot of people haven't thought about it. I think a lot of people are not examining, particularly people in power, are not examining their choices when they make choices about who and why someone should receive a role. They're not taking into consideration the baked-in inequity for LGBTQIA performers, and it's decades long. The film begins with a quote or a stat that one actor who's openly gay has been nominated for an award for playing openly gay, and over 60 have been nominated, and that statistic is undebatable. And so whether or not you agree with the conversation itself, you can't disagree with that stat.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like this is a movie that we need to have the industry professionals see, get it to them, the casting directors, the writers. I mean, some of them are obviously aware of it, but they seem to sweep it under the rug and haven't really addressed it when it comes to casting.
Well, you can't ask somebody. You can't put somebody in the hot seat to say, how do you identify? It's not legal, and it's not so that you can always claim you didn't know or you thought or you did the best you could. But I think there's a pattern of the same kinds of people and the same kinds of performers being universally right for something, and then as it gets more and more specific, actors suddenly are only right for the one lane that they are identified as. But then this other category of people can sort of go in and out of all the categories, and that is something that either has to be equal for everyone, or we have to have a stronger discussion about what it means to be in a category and how you identify, and whether or not, if you're in that lane, who's allowed in that and why, or it has to just be equal, or it's never going to change.
Yeah. Do you feel that there is some change going on in the industry? I mean, because I know, you and are you guys married? Are you and Michael married?
We're not.
Okay, but you've been together for 87 years, But the two of you, you are fortunate enough because both of you have really lovely careers. Do you see this changing at all?
I see, the beauty of being, an actor who's hired for gay roles is we're in a world where there's not just one kind of gay role. It's not just a person dying of AIDS in a sad play, or it's not the sassy friend. There is a wide variety of performers, of types of actors and types of performers and types of characters within the LGBT community and art space. And I think that is exciting because if you're hired, you can often play different kinds of people. But I have also noticed that continually, you look at, the year of, I can't remember what year it was, the year of The Favorite. That year, there was like seven queer characters nominated for acting roles. So seven of the characters were queer, but none of the actors identified that way. And so I just can't help but feel like we're not doing enough if there's not a celebrity version of these, cis straight people, that if there's not a celebrity version of a queer person who can compete with that kind of resume, then it's never going to change. And so we have to start building and lifting these people who identify as queer so that their resumes and their experience level can be as competitive as an Olivia Coleman or,
Emma Stone. Yes. No, I mean, and the film Nora Highland it really is kind of exposing. Here's the sausage factory.
Yeah.
Here are all the messy bits. But hopefully, with films like this, there will be some change. I know, recently there was a show that was here in Chicago called The Red Line, and it was a limited series for CBS and it involved around a gay man, which of course it was, Noah Wiley. Noah Wiley was the main gay guy. Of course, he is a straight white man. But the peripheral characters that were queer, I went in for that audition and I was so buoyed by the fact that I looked around and every person in like every queer actor in Chicago that's worth their salt was in that room. And I was like, okay, that's a top tip of the hat to the casting, Pascal Rudnicki.
But you even said something that I think is striking as you began that conversation by saying the peripheral characters. And
right.
I think that is a slippery slope because we continually center the same kind of person and everyone else, it just dances around them. And until we start centering different kinds of people, we're not going to see change beyond things being what you just said, where the world in which they're living in is technically what you could say diverse, but the center of the story is not, or if it is, it's not played by someone who actually identifies with the community that they're training.
Well, you are, all right, look at you, hitting it right on the nosy there, Ryan Spahn. Hopefully this film, Nora Highland, will affect change within the industry. It's a really thoughtful piece and really wonderful. I was so just like, oh, look at you. You're such a talented actor. And I'm like, oh, damn it. He can write and direct too. Like, stop it, Ryan Spahn.
Triple threat.
So sweet, thanks.
Like, I was so mad at you. I still think about your performance in Gloria here at the Goodman, and it was just
that was such a beautiful show.
It's a beautiful show, and go ahead.
My friend, this person has Brian Glick has been doing the sales rep for Nora Highland and taking it around to these festivals. It's something that they're really advocating for is that the film lives in some sort of registry type thing at like GLAAD and at SAG and at Equity and the casting directors Society of America, and it becomes something that is supplemented with any sort of materials around whatever they have to read about
diversity, equity, and inclusion,
as it should be.
Yeah, whatever, and I think that is where this could have a really strong life and a strong impact.
Well, look at you being a change maker. I love that. Ryan Spahn, congratulations on the film. If you want to check out Nora Highland yourself, go to reelingfilmfestival.org. You can stream that, I believe, through October 7th. But check it out. Go find where you can view it, because it really is. It's a wonderful conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation. Like, again, as I was watching it, I'm like going, I don't feel good at all.
You know the story, but others will gain insights.
Yes. Yeah. So congratulations on the film, and congratulations on making a difference in the world. So Ryan Spahn, you are awesome.
Thank you, and thank you. Sorry about the bad connection.
Oh, you're fine.
I hope we found a good spot.
You did. You figured it out perfectly. Thank you, Ryan.
Now go enjoy your new home, and much love and success to you and Michael and all future endeavors. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, the film is Nora Highland. Check it out, reelingfilmfestival.org. We need to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments of Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hey, I'm Tom, host of the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast. Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as the editors of Consumer Guide Automotive look at what matters most to people who own, love, or simply have to live with automobiles. Listen in for the latest news, great guests, expert analysis, and occasionally irreverent takes on what's happening in the auto world. We'll try and entertain you and maybe even save you a little money. That's the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on WCPT AM 820.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday, and you're constantly complaining about paying PMI on your FHA loan, but you've done nothing about it. If you took out a 30-year fixed loan after June of 2013 and your loan-to-value was greater than 90%, you will have PMI for the entire length of your loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners refinance out of their FHA loan to eliminate their PMI, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Also, financial legal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Dove here along with Ellen Miller. We roll along. Oh, I'm glad you played Honey West. Honey West, we all love Honey West. Chicago legend,
yes, she
icon. She is now the director of the Venus Cabaret Theater, which is adjacent to the Mercury Theater in Lakeview on Southport.
Yep.
And this weekend kicks off their Dark Knight series. That's a just regular night, not Knight, because that's Batman.
Right.
I'm Batman.
The Dark Knight.
Rachel! Yeah, I'm Batman.
That Dark Knight.
That Dark Knight. But it's not the Dark Knight series. It's the Dark Knight
Dark
series.
Knight.
Yeah, where it's like usually the theaters are dark.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of different programming that's going on. I know this weekend, Corey Goodrich, who's a huge staple in the Chicago theater community, musical theater community especially. She's doing a cabaret that's happening, but they're also opening up. They're using the space. It's finally opening up with again, using all the COVID precautions, but there's going to be cabaret open mic nights. There's going to be karaoke at there. So it's a beautiful. Have you been to the Venus Cabaret before?
I have not. I've been to the Mercury Theater, but not the Venus Cabaret.
Well, because it's a newer build, a newer addition to it. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous room. And the beautiful bar with a huge cocktail
It's
list.
named after my mom, so
It is named after Venus, right? I think it's more Mercury and Venus, but
I want to pretend.
Well, yeah, it's named after that. But coming up in 2 weeks, on the 17th, I'm going to be hosting a comedy night there. So they'll be launching comedy, and let me tell you, we are fortunate enough to get some of the best. I mean, the
Who's gonna
best
be there?
comics.
Give us a preview.
So, Kristen Toomey, who is a Chicago legend. She's been on NBC Last Comic Standing. She's been on NPR. She's been on, featured on Comedy Central. All over with. She's all over. She's been at Just for Laughs in Montreal several times.
Oh, great.
She is hilarious. She's a little tiny. She's a small human who's a mom who who's
a powerhouse.
She's amazing. Yeah. We've got Anthony Bonatzo, who just opened for Adam Carolla at Park West.
I heard that was a great.
Oh, what good? Yeah. But he's so great. He's he tours all over the country. He's wonderful. We also have Jamie Schreiner, who is her star is quickly rising. She's quirky, fun. She does a lot of music stuff. You should go check out her Instagram things. She's got a lot of songs that we can't play on the radio.
Oh, my favorite.
And Matt Brown, a queer comic who brings up his perspective of growing up biracial in Southern Illinois to everything that he does. He's also wasn't a former opera student, so he's a little bit of wacko cracko. And then you got me thrown in there.
Oh my God, that sounds fun.
So it should be a good time. I'm using this for shameless self-promotion.
Of course.
So October 17th is going to be the first one. And I'm super duper excited. So I hope that you can be there. So if you go to mercurytheater.com, you can be able to find a link to the tickets there. So so that's a project that I've got coming up that I wanted to say. And also extend just a huge love and respect to Honey West for taking this series. And I'm sure it will be just as beautiful and successful as she is. So
I look forward to it.
There we go. Are you playing anytime soon?
No, we did all outdoor festivals. We did 5 shows from July until a couple weeks ago. They were all outdoors, so we kind of don't know what the fall and winter is going to lead to. We shall see. I hope to get some shows, but nothing to pitch right now. But I did want to mention that remember we had from Abby McEnany. Work in Progress. It comes out the 10th, the next season, and
it's already out.
I heard it was coming out the 10th.
No, it's already. They've already been airing.
They have.
Yeah, on the showtimes. So season 2 is underway now.
I was with a friend last night whose sister is friends with Abby, and she's in a ton of episodes. And I thought she said it was coming out this week, but maybe it's already.
It might be a new episode.
Or maybe the new episode with our friend in it.
Yeah, because it's not like they're doing like old school TV where you get one episode a week,
right?
As opposed to drop everything and now you binge
I think
it.
that's what she was referring to. And she was talking about how they've really gone to some uncharted waters with the characters this season and trying to understand, the character.
Yes, I don't have Showtime, but I was fortunate enough to watch the first 4 episodes.
And
it's good.
Really good. Mm-hmm. Support it because it's filmed here in Chicago.
And there are a ton of Chicago people in it. Tons and tons. And off the conversation that we were having, it's queer people playing queer people.
It is, yes. My friend's sister is a lesbian, and she's a friend of it, and she's in a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, who is it? What's her?
Her name is Nancy Coleman. She's a teacher. She's not an actor.
Oh, she's not an actor, but she's in it. Oh, well, because they do a lot of going back to school. Mitchell Fain, our good buddy, plays one of her teachers.
Okay, because I'm going to look forward to it.
So there we go. Yes, it's a delightful romp. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out.
Watch it, you'll love it.
But also, it is now October, and it is my favorite time of year.
Because of pumpkin spice?
Well, it's pumpkin spice everything. She's my favorite of the Spice Girls. Mm-hmm. Why was there no? I mean, could you imagine if the Spice Girls were redone now?
Yeah,
there would have to be like a pumpkin spice, Old Spice. Got to keep it, interesting. Do allspice.
Yeah, that's a good season.
A very overlooked spice.
Yes, it is. I like allspice.
I enjoy the allspice, nice. Of course, but with the Greek stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it's scary movie time.
Oh yeah, you love scary movies.
I love scary movies.
Actually, when I was a kid, I did love scary movies. I don't know what happened.
Well, a lot of I don't know. You don't have kids because one of my friends, she's like, I loved scary movies, and then I had a kid, and I was just I just wanted to protect her the entire time, so I can't watch them. You're not so you're not a scary.
No, I quit. When I was a kid, I loved them, but when I got older, I just, when The Exorcist came out, I started I never saw it.
Yeah. Oh, you never saw The Exorcist?
Never did. Of course, I did watch Silence of the Lambs because I had a couple friends in it. But Ted Levine, my friend who played this.
Oh,
Skinner,
yeah, he was scary.
Chicago actor with Steppenwolf for a while.
Yeah,
or was
that
he
voice.
with Remains Theater?
He was with Remains, I believe.
Remains Theater, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't watch. Actually, I just heard a story about somebody who just bought the Exorcist house. Not the one in Georgetown, the one that happened in Maryland where the real Exorcist thing happened. I thought as a realtor you would appreciate it because they got it for underprice.
I'm sure it's rare to do in this market.
I know, that's why they're looking at it. Yeah, but so I love scary movies.
So what's coming out that you're excited about? Is there something, Halloween releases or what?
Well, there's a new Halloween movie. That's coming out, the Halloween franchise with Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. And of course, Kyle Richards, one of the Housewives of Beverly Hills, who was in the original movie when she was a little kid.
Oh.
I know. Very excited about that. But there have been some really cool, thrillery, fun things that if you too enjoy a spooky movie or a thrillery type of movie, just thought I'd let you know. There's a great, okay, Malignant. You don't watch.
No, I saw Malignant in the notes. I hoped you didn't have anything to tell me.
Yeah, no, Malignant is this weird movie that's available. Oh, I think today might be the last day to stream it on the HBO Max.
Okay.
But if you get a chance.
That sounds, Malignant.
Well, it's there's this strange sort of, there are phenomenons that are happening and okay, this is a major spoiler alert, so plug your ears, everybody. Carl, it is a movie that is about an embryonic twin.
Oh my God! This is why I don't watch movies.
So the entire movie, I kept watching this. I'm like, what am I watching? I didn't know because it started out this beautiful sort of almost homage to this late 70s, early 80s horror movies, the way it was shot. And then as we progressed, it kind of moved into the 80s. And then as you found out what was happening, you kind of moved into this very strange world. I could not take my eyes off of it.
Car accident, you couldn't take your eyes off.
It is riveting. It is bizarre. It's a movie about a lady who never got a haircut, apparently, because the twin mag there. It's so strange. But we just finished watching 2 series, both on Netflix. One of them is called Squid Game, which is more of a thriller, less horror. It is a Korean limited series. It's dubbed, so that's a little boo because you kind of miss out on some of the nuances in the translation, especially some of the actors, because the performances, you can tell, are they're phenomenal. But it is about a group of people, 465 people, who are down on their luck, who need money, who have agreed to be a part of this game, where they play a series of 6 childhood games. If you lose, you really lose.
Oh.
It's bad. But it kind of goes into the human psyche about what would you do? How do you make these? It literally is a life and death situation. It's an international phenomenon right now.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal to watch, but it's so good. So 2 enthusiastic thumbs up there. And also this great show called Midnight Mass.
Okay.
Also on Netflix, where it takes place on this very small town, this small island town, Crockett Island. They call it the Crock Pot, where there are only 127 people who live on this island. We don't know where it is. We assume that it's kind of New England, although there's supposed to be someplace in Chicago, and it's definitely not Chicago. There's a new priest at the Catholic Church, and things change. I can't tell if it's a metaphor for the Catholic Church about the body and blood of Christ.
No.
But it gets a little body and blood,
okay.
if you know what I mean. So anyway, there's a couple of recommendations for scary movies. If you like a scary movie, go check those out. And if you want to, also just leave some suggestions for me, because I need new stuff. New blood, as it were.
It's got some scary movie suggestions.
Boo scary. And on that note, we've come to the end of another Out Chicago. I know what to thank all of our guests, the delightful Ryan Spahn and Delia Javier from Alzheimer's Association. Devin. Masterful work all the time. Paul. Okay, there you are. Your name is Paul. Thank you, Paul. What?
He has a nice scarf on.
He's got a beautiful scarf on.
Yeah.
And he's a beautiful human being.
He's a beautiful
He's a
man.
beautiful human being. Ella Miller, you are a beautiful human being as well.
Scott,
There we are.
back at you.
Thank you. And I'm Scott Duff. And until next week,
Stay proud.